Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Thank someone's ordered that first collection. Genuinely, we weren't actually in the room when it happened because we used an amazing guy as our sales agent.
We didn't want to do the sales.
We couldn't face people actually telling us how the collection was or even how great it was. However, I knew that one of the stores we wanted to target was a certain store in Brighton, and I knew them in their previous name from other brands I'd worked for and we'd sold to, or actually just tried to sell to them. So we were genuinely delighted and honoured that Ian wrote an order. We didn't know Ian at all. I didn't even know there was someone called Ian Peggs. I didn't know that. I knew the name of the store, but I didn't know there was actually a human being who had that name and was doing the buying. So, but yeah, it was our first season and we were, absolutely blown away that anyone was buying it because we didn't know that was going to happen.
This is much more interesting.
When you're out buying, you run around, for me, it's really important to spend as much time as possible looking at products and new collections. And you see a lot of stuff and some of it's good and some of it's not very good. And when Martin presented us with Universal Works, it didn't take very long to work out that we should definitely buy it. And it's difficult to pinpoint reasons why you buy a new collection. And often it comes just down to hairs on the back of your neck and a bit of instinct. But also everything was right about it. Whoever was behind it, and we didn't know, David and Stephanie at the time, obviously knew what they were doing. The cut of the garments and the use of fabrics was all very good. And it was clear that they knew menswear. So yeah, it was an easy decision for us.
Hopefully lots of them. I guess the first thing that springs to mind is the last few years. I think we've both had success with our wool fleece cardigan, which has become a staple, a classic, an iconic piece of clothing from us. And I think Ian has sold that really well in store. Lots of colours, and it's a fabric that worked really well for us. Taking a sort of more sports-related fabric, but doing it in a style that it perhaps hadn't been seen in before. So it was about use of fabric and shape in a, it's not revolutionary. It's actually quite a small change for something like that. But I think it was, for us, it really took off, and I think it worked really well.
I think one of the things you do very well is, men aren't particularly complicated creatures, and a lot of menswear designers and rangers will run too fast for their customer, and you're very good at understanding a shape and a fit that works, and then moving it along, nudging it along, if you like, with fabrics and tweaks to the cut and the colour, and the wool fleece is a perfect example of that. You expanded the range, you added some new shapes, but it retains that core of the cardigan very well.
Yeah, I think I can be a bit impatient at times and try and push things a bit too fast. I think Steph's the one that often says, "Not yet," and get the timing right, which is good.
She's in front of the customer a bit more often, I think, as well. So two-way thing sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think from a point of view of Peggs itself, I think you've often bought things from most of the of the product types of the areas, you know, whether that's a jacket or pants or you know, like the wool fleece. It's not been one single thing. So hopefully, as a collection, we've worked well. And I think Ian's always had a great eye for something that might be a new style, but he's got a really commercial eye, and he buys things that I think a lot of guys are going to understand, and it will resonate with them. And hopefully that's what is the core part of our collection as well. It doesn't scare anyone, but it's more interesting than your average, I hope. Today, surely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a moment some years ago, David, when we were happened to be on the same flight
Oh yeah.
from JFK to
Yeah, that was an
to
entertaining
London,
evening, wasn't
and,
it? Yeah.
Having spent a couple of hours in the airport lounge, and then we were sitting next to each other on the flight, I have a vague memory of them asking us not to drink anymore.
Yeah, that was a defining moment, wasn't it? Happy memories, though.
Well, I mean, it was an easy decision to do a collection together. It always is. David and Stephanie make our life very easy when it comes to producing a collection like this. So we wanted to focus on some fits and shapes that really worked for Pegs and Son, and we always have, you know, we like certain fabrics, and so when we put those fabrics and those fits together, it just so happened to create a really nice collection. We're always a fan of herringbone twill, and I think this is one of my favourite pieces from the collection. It works incredibly well in both colours, but the fabric really works with, you know, the design that David and Stephanie had already made, and the uniform jacket as well. I believe you'd never made that before, had you, in the wool fleece? And so we're buying a lot more of that shorter silhouette for men, and that jacket lent itself perfectly for using the wool fleece fabric with, and it really came out very well, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Ian said to me earlier that, you know, we make his life easier on these special collaborations because we do it all. So much of this is Ian's idea. You know, he remembered a style that we did that he wanted again now, and he wanted us to try and make that in a fabric that we've never made that style in. So we had to adapt in an old pattern. We had to look at how we could do that, and actually the piece is fantastic. And that's not because it came out of our heads; it came out of Ian's head. And we were delighted to do it, and it's a great piece. And again, him talking about the fabric, you know, it was a fabric he loved, but he was asking about quite new styles for us, things that had only recently become favourites with some of our clients and some of our customers, and adding that fabric that he's used for a long time into new styles. And we talked about colours, and we offered him colours and showed him things we were doing, and you know, we ended up developing a fabric especially because I wanted to get it right for this project. But it was coming out of ideas from Ian, which was that was really driving it. So it's been great, and the pieces I think are super special. I don't think we should ever get a flight together again.
I've stopped drinking.
Because that's dangerous.
All right.
You
It's
took
okay.
it literally.
Yeah.
She said no.
Yeah. Where else are we going with that?
Yeah, I've got no idea.
I hope there's, you know, we're part of what the whole Pegs and Sons have done as a brand, as a company with this special is to talk about our 15 years and that we've been together 15 years, that they wrote that first order. Amazing. What a brilliant thing. I want to see us doing it for the next 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually one of the important things to remember here is we are two independent businesses working together, and we're in an industry which is becoming dominated by, you know, much larger corporate ventures, and so the spaces become smaller to be able to work together and work in this arena. So I think it's really important that as small businesses and independent businesses, we support each other and work together with these special projects. Yeah, it felt awkward enough.
Yeah.